Good afternoon, sisters. I am recording this a day early so I can post it because I won't be here tomorrow. Um, how did you get on with last week's info video about how your brain works? Hopefully, it made you understand yourself better. Um, there's so much I have in my head that's kind of jumbled, so I'm really trying to be linear and trying to put things in order. But two things that we need to kind of educate yourself on about mindfulness. Number one, that it requires being present, so trying to focus in on one present moment. And number two, that it also involves self-compassion. So next week, I'm going to talk about self-compassion and being non-judgmental of your emotions and your feelings, not putting yourself down. But this week, we're actually going to put into practice trying to be present. So I will link a meditation. There's one on YouTube that you can do and one on Insight Timer. Preferably do the Insight Timer one because it has a lot more spiritual insight into presence, I feel. The lady who I will send you a link to on YouTube is a ex Olympic athlete who had a back injury and ended up having to then obviously come out of the Olympics. But she and her husband have a kind of built a whole channel in YouTube and a whole life around veganism. I'm not a vegan, by the way. I'm not promoting that. But their belief is Buddhism, veganism, kind of as natural a life as possible. But every now and then, because she's an Olympic athlete and she's an amazing, what's the word? She's just all into her physical activity and yoga and Pilates. She's got an amazing body. She will sometimes wear bikinis that are very skimpy. So when you put the meditation on from YouTube, you'll see that at the beginning you can see quite a lot there. But then she goes on to meditation that goes on to just the water and the waterfall around her and the sound of the water. But there's no intention there to be in any way all about her and her body. It's just for her, that's her way of being free. So I'll put that one on. And that one is specifically, you're given a mantra or a set of words to say constantly in your head to bring yourself back to presence. The second one by Sarah Blondin, she talks a lot about how for her, she always puts her own experience at the beginning of her meditation. And she has like a little talk for like between 3 to 5 minutes. And then she will start the actual meditation. And it's always accompanied by music that I feel she has very specifically picked in order to bring up emotions. And so sometimes when I listen to her meditations, I may feel very emotional. I may feel like crying. I may feel very spiritual or close to God. But that music is always really purposefully picked, I feel. And she's very, very good at that. So she talks about how in some way going through her own anxiety and her own mental journey, she always puts that into perspective first. She's been where we are. She's not talking from non-experience. How when you learn to be present, you realize that something is calling you to be back into your life. When you're anxious, when you're depressed, you live your life in your head and with your thoughts, and it's very hard to get out of them and very hard to get back into life and be involved with everything around you and the people around you. So this practice will really help you within your family, with your connection with family members, friends, loved ones around you, to be more present, and to, when they want to talk to you, you eventually get to the point where you learn to just listen and focus and be there rather than having your brain on other things. So she talked about how when you're searching for a better experience in life, the answer to that is to be more present. In our spiritual lives, we may think, you know what, my spirituality isn't working. The church isn't doing anything for me right now. Sundays are hard. My prayers are hard. My scripture study just doesn't feel like I'm getting anything out of it. And quite often the answer is to be more present within that study, because we're often off with our thoughts. Let me see. And so she will teach you how to tune into what is here, what is now, and stop thinking about the past, stop thinking about the future, stop thinking about what you have to do today, but to focus on the now. So when you're going through the meditation, I often I visualize either tons of blurry lines coming into one focus, into one line. For some reason that helps me, like tuning in a television, an old style television. Or I will picture myself watching myself meditating. So just that still picture of being in your favorite place, a garden, by the beach, in the forest, wherever, and picture yourself, but it's not trying not to think, that's the difference. It's just trying to focus into one thought. So you will absolutely have your thoughts go all over the place, and that's completely fine. The practice of mindfulness is, when that happens, to not judge your thoughts and just to bring them back into focus again on what is happening right here, right now. Where are you? What can you see? What can you feel? What can you smell? What can you think? And then at the very end, she talked about how our suffering can survive only when we're disconnected from the present. So we suffer more when we're not connected to what is actually going on now, generally speaking. And that your presence and learning to be present will become your power, and it will become your freedom from anxiety, from depression, from worrying thoughts. So go ahead, go through her meditation first. Absolutely go through hers first. But I want you to really try each day. This is where we have to start now, to try and commit to each day doing at least one meditation in the morning or the evening. If morning is your hardest time, do it in the morning. If going to bed is your hardest time and you need to calm down, try it in the evening. For those that want to go the extra mile, try the morning and the evening. Okay, eventually we will get to the point where you'll be doing, hopefully, a 10-minute morning and a 10-minute evening meditation, or as long as you feel you can give. So yeah, this week, listen to her meditation first, Sarah Blondin, about being present. And then you can either switch between hers and the other meditation from Boho Beautiful on YouTube about being present. But practice every day, at least once a day, twice if you feel like it, or if you feel you have the energy to and the focus. And the practice is just to bring your thoughts back from where they're flying away. So see how you get on with that. And WhatsApp me if you have any questions. Okay, have a good week. Bye.